Well, it sounds dramatic, like something from a movie. With just minutes to spare, a father rushed his kids and pregnant wife out of his home before it was ripped off its foundation and thrown 100 feet. All this happened last night in Pantego on Beach Ridge Road, where Ellen was just then. I was there an hour after it happened.
I'm gonna fill that basket up with this. I found a stack of cloths and stuff.
If ever a small town had something to talk about, this would be it.
Wiped out entirely. That's just what's left of their home.
Around 4 o'clock, the tornado hit Pantego. By 6:30, town talk had turned into action.
We just wanted to come over here and do what we could to help out.
I'm good. I'm sitting around.
6 fire departments and passers-by equals help, 100 strong on Beach Ridge Road.
We were on our bus coming back from school, and we got the call that there was a tornado coming on Beach Ridge, and as we were going down my road, we looked back and we could see it, over the tree line. The Van Essendelfs, they had their house completely destroyed.
The twister took this house off its base and turned it into a twisted pile of wood, metal, and memories.
It was, I believe, on the foundation that was up here. You can see their brick front porch on the front area here, underneath the trailer. You want to go this way?
Trying to beat the darkness and get the valuables for the family. That's what it's all about, the community helping, and that's why we're out here. We're going to stay as long as we need to.
Mark Van Essendelft lost everything he owned. What he saved is much more valuable. He, his 6 kids, and 9-month pregnant wife were home when the tornado came.
So I was working in my barn here, and I heard a roaring sound, and I looked outside and I could see the tornado in the distance coming straight this way. So I ran to the neighbors, knocked on the door, and I told him that the tornado's coming. And I ran to the house, and my wife and my children were in the bathtub. And I told them, let's get in the ditch. So we have twin 2-year-olds, and I grabbed one of them, and we all ran to the ditch. You see what happened. It went right over top of us.
And how can anyone have handled the situation better?
I'm just thankful everybody's alive, and I just thank the Lord.
Than with humility.
There's a lot of people. I don't know who they are.
And with the help of strangers. Van Essendelft tells me his wife was in the hospital in Greenville because of some of the injuries she sustained during that tornado. She has some cuts and bruises, but he says she is okay. She was released today, and her unborn baby is doing just fine as well. In the studio, Kyle Horan for News Channel 12. Jamie, send it back to you. Aww. If you remember the Van Essendelft story, you may remember how their faith in God is what they credit for saving the lives of all 9 of the family members from that tornado. Since the very beginning, the community where the family lives has stepped up in a big way. This week, they're getting a new home from a kind donor. But what's amazing about this selfless act is the faith in a man's ingenuity. Take a look. On a rural road, in a river-cut tract of Hyde County,
it's about up here.
A man is showing nature how it's done. At 30 feet wide,
Get out of my way, Randy.
there's no way anyone is getting around this roadblock.
It's a pretty big house to move. That's called an instant house.
It was the Tooley's house, Ray Tooley.
Unless they pull over. Steiner's Moving Company is taking a 20-mile trip on 264 across open plains and even over bridges until reaching this home's new home, a plot of land that's seen better days.
Did you ever think they could put a house on a truck?
If 4 walls and a roof could feel welcomed,
How many guys do you think it took them to pick that house up and move it onto the truck?
they would.
Now, if you could fit 15,000 men around it, but maybe they put some men underneath and they were like lifting it like this?
By the Van Essendelfts.
I don't want to do anything.
You don't think you have to do anything?
That would be all heavy.
Well, that's why we asked you guys to come today, because we needed lots of helpers.
Most of them, anyways.
It looks a little bit,
Without siding,
it looks a little bit, I guess, messy right now, but it'll look better.
it does look a mess. This family of 9 is having their home moved for a second time.
It was huge. It took the whole roof.
The first by Mother Nature's wrath. A tornado threw their home a couple hundred feet.
Drove it all the way in the ditch. Oh, that's not good. Oh, boy.
But let's see a twister do this. A home doesn't move a marathon's distance without difficulty. With a few more piles of dirt under the wheels, the home even jumps this ditch.
As a family, we believe in the providence of God. He's sure showing that to family through this storm.
There have been many hurdles for the family who survived the EF2 in April. Getting a house onto their lot is just one.
We have a lot of work ahead of us, but a lot of work behind us.
But like always, it's their faith in the big man upstairs that gets them there.
We're going to have to frame a big picture of our old home somewhere in it.
Like a household that can never be pulled down, it's looking up.
There's always a blessing in those adversities.
That saved the Van Essendelfs many times.
Van Essendelfs have plans to add on to their new home. They're not sure when that will happen, but are thankful to all the people who have helped them get this far. In the studio, Kyle Horan for News Channel 12.
On a racetrack in the eastern North Carolina countryside, green flag! The sound where the rubber meets the road is deafening.
It's extremely loud. Man, this is fast.
It was crazy.
Yeah, what he said. Woo!
For these crazed fans, thrills ride on the chassis of many horses. This stallion is breeding a second-generation driver. Chuck Godley's 1993 Ford Mustang is a family heirloom. But even though number 64 is Chuck's car, he's not the one driving it.
I know he would have wanted me to do it. He would have liked to see me race.
On August 27th,
He died in a car wreck
on VOA Road
in a head-on collision
in Washington.
Got the phone calls. I think it was around 10 or 11 at night, 10, something like that.
Somebody came up here and knocked on the back door and said Chuck's been in a wreck and it's pretty bad.
It's been a while, but it's still tough.
The honor of driving 64 has fallen to his biggest fan. For Lee Campbell, Chuck's 17-year-old half-brother, driving the car seemed natural.
When my brother died, I mean, I wanted to race, of course, but taking over was something different. But now that he passed away, I mean, I kind of have to. I got to keep it going, you know.
Number 64 is taking on new meaning.
That's just his number. It's the only way I can explain it. That's just his number.
With a set of new tires, it's a monument on wheels. But Lee has a big seat to fill. Chuck won his first race when he was just 13 years old.
The class that he first started in, it was all new people. They had never driven before. He had never driven before. And he went out there, and I think he won his first race ever.
In 15 years of racing, he won 3 championships at the Speedway in Robertsonville.
Sometimes he started in the rear, and maybe 10 laps, he'd be in front.
We kind of caught us off guard how good he really was at it, but it was his thing.
He knew only one thing, go to the front.
I plan on putting a picture in the car so I can always have me with him when I'm racing.
Chuck will be there, no doubt about it. He'll be right beside him. He'll be saying, go fast, run over this one.
Lee Campbell driving that famous number 64, made famous by the great Chuck Godley.
These seasoned vets were his rivals. But if divine intervention can't help Lee's chances, what will?
Kevin Pierce
scoreboard tells the story. Number 64, 5th place in a division with 5 cars.
It's Pierce, Mars, Whitehurst, and iPod.
If he makes it through the first one, that'll get him incentive to do better next time.
Out of turn number 4, Kevin Pierce. Your winner, the car number 12 of Kevin Pierce.
But you don't have to be in first to be a winner in this crowd.
We just got to carry them with us, you know, just like they always do.
The act of showing up is enough.
Chuck Godley. We miss him, we love him. His legacy will live on forever here at the East Carolina Motor Speedway.
How'd it feel?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Think you have an easier time next time? Getting used to it?
I'll just have to get better.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can do.
In Robertsonville, Kyle Horan for Fox Eastern Carolina News. John Grady had a terrible accident 10 years ago. Despite having a disability, Grady decided to further his education, and he did it all while operating his own business. Tonight, we'll introduce you to a man who's become accustomed to overcoming life's hurdles. In a sea of caps and gowns.
Well, thank you for being here and continuing to support the college.
Hundreds of students prepare for graduation at Lenoir Community College. Among the many dress shoes, there's one pair of feet that haven't been used in more than 10 years. But the man connected to them might feel strong enough to lift the world. John Grady has been waiting for this graduation for 7 years. He's earning a degree in business.
One must focus on the student and not the content.
In spite of his disability, it happened 10 years ago.
We were married on June 1st, 2002, and we were married for 2 years. July of 2004, we were on our regular family vacation that we went every summer, and that afternoon they were jumping off the pier.
On vacation at White Lake with his wife, Christy.
I knew how deep the water was, but when I dove in, I had my head down and my arms down.
And his head hit the bottom and it broke his neck.
My arms went numb, my legs just instantly, I could not move at all. And I thought to myself, they're going to think I'm playing around because I had done it before. I felt a hand reach down and pick me up, and it was Christy. And when she picked me up, I remember looking at her and telling her, you know, don't let me go because I can't move.
From there, it was to the hospital and then home.
Home was tough. You know, it was us on our own.
It was hell. It was hell.
Days went by, then weeks, then months, and things became easier.
It was really hard. But I guess every day or every week or every month got a little bit easier, and now it's just routine. We just get up, and it takes like 2 hours every day to get ready, but it's normal.
After several months, maybe even a year, I got to thinking, okay, well, if I'm not going to be able to do electrical work anymore, what can I do? And that's where real estate come in.
Christy went to college. She got her master's. Then John started going to 1 or 2 classes a semester.
My challenges with my hands, it takes me longer to do the work of what the other students were doing.
After 7 years of school, John made it to his final class, managerial accounting.
The final exam is 50 multiple choice questions.
As long as our grade don't change from last time, we'll be all right.
Go ahead and make sure your answers are on this answer sheet right here. And then
before the big day,
our exam goes well.
You know, it's been a long time coming.
It has.
Finally arrives.
Aurelia Martin Bautista.
Allwell John's hero.
Grace White.
And biggest fan.
Riley Orman.
Watches.
John Alvin Grady Jr.
Come around, let's get this picture here. If I'd have never gotten hurt, I would still be an electrician. And Christy might not have went to school and got her master's degree in accounting. I feel like it changed her life. It for the better.
Grady graduated with a 3.8 grade point average. His plan now is to focus on his real estate business. He tells me he couldn't have done everything he has without his wife. They will celebrate their 12-year anniversary June 1st. In the studio, Kyle Horan for News Channel 12.